Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 385 of Far Lands or Bust, and it is indeed a foggy day outside. Wow, that looks really weird and creepy. But yeah, I accidentally pressed the F key at the end of the episode as I was going to sleep in the hidey hole, and if you're aware, we are playing in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3. The F key was the shortcut to adjust the draw distance and fog. And wow, that is really strange and creepy. Oh, and we're also facing the wrong direction. Let's fix this. Let's brighten up our day, because it is indeed. Oh, that's worse. That's worse, Wolfie. Indeed. Woo! But yeah, here we go. Much more appropriate view distance and lack of fog. But we're going to continue on in episode 385. Today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2014. And over at farlandsorbust.com, our Child's Play charity fundraising goal, or not goal, but our fundraising amount is up to exactly $8,000, and I appreciate the spoilers and the creepers and everybody who has been able to donate to Child's Play charity thus far and over the past 3 years of Far Lands or Bust. Careful, Wolfie, I heard you take some damage. Oh, no, that was the music starting. It was just the low-toned chime? Is that a chime? Some sort of xylophone, if you will? But yeah, I appreciate everybody continuing to support Child's Play charity. Great cause indeed. And I know what you probably want to talk about today. It's the new Interstellar trailer, am I right? For the movie, you want to talk about that the entire episode long? Nothing else has happened today at all? Oh. I am, of course, being extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Silly? Crazy? Something like that. But yeah, I did want to dedicate today's episode, and only today's episode, to discussing something that happened earlier today, around noon Eastern time. I uploaded a video and launched a Patreon campaign, and I wanted to take today to talk a little bit more off the top of my head, off the cuff, because you and I are friends. Farlanders, we can talk, you and I together. But yeah, just more so than what I had time for in that little 5-minute introductory announcement video, which honestly was probably about 1 or 2 minutes too long for an actual announcement video. But yeah, I wanted to talk pretty much just off the cuff here, and you know, right away, the first question I pretty much got regarding that, and something I did expect, is how does launching a fan funding program with your content and your channel affect the Child's Play charity fundraiser? Is it going to detract from that? Is there going to be confusion? And I've said this before in other situations, and I'll say it again, and this is the first point I want to make. First and foremost, support the Far Lands or Bust fundraiser, which right now is supporting Child's Play charity, as you know, at farlandsorbust.com. If you have funds in your hand and you are hesitating and taking a minute to think, should I donate to the Child's Play charity fundraiser, or should I become a patron on his Patreon campaign? Every time, don't even think about it. Child's Play charity fundraiser, Far Lands or Bust fundraiser, farlandsorbust.com. Give the money there every time. That's just my flat out response to that. If I do, you know, I don't really have that many methods of analytics or whatnot, but if I do see an effect or negative effect on the charity fundraising due to the launch of this fan funding campaign, then I will axe it. It will be axed. But actually, I've today seen an increase thanks to the additional visibility, I suppose, to Far Lands or Bust in my channel. So I only personally see it as a positive. So yeah, that is the point I need to make clear right away, right from the get-go. And yeah, let's just say that. Let's say that indeed. But yeah, today, let me also just get out of the way. Today is the most you're going to hear about this Patreon thing. I don't want it to be, I'm saying I want to reduce the amount of advertising you guys are subjected to while watching Far Lands or Bust or my other content. I don't want to replace that advertisement with advertisement for my Patreon page. So today is the most and pretty much the last official time you're going to be hearing me discuss it or talk about it or announce it on my YouTube channel. There might simply be links in video descriptions or on my description page on my channel page. There might be brief times when I mention it during, say, the live streams, or during, whenever I have a project that is launched in thanks to the Patreon campaign. So I'll say something simple like, oh, this is brought to you thanks to the support from patrons on my Patreon page, and then we'll get right to the content. So yeah, I'm not going to be all Patreon all the time. This one episode of Far Lands or Bust is the only time I'm going to mention it here in Far Lands or Bust, because as I said, Child's Play charity, the fundraiser, is the main focus. But also just overall in my channel, I'm not going to have little overlays or voiceovers reminding you throughout different episodes of like Spin Tires or Kerbal Space Program or anything like that. I feel like if a fan out there likes my content enough to want to actively support it, like through the Patreon, then they'll take the time to search whatever hidden nooks and crannies I've put the link in order to do so. So I don't want to be shoving it in everybody's face. So just today, prepare your face to be shoved upon. No. And yeah, we're just going to continue on mostly business as usual, but hopefully above and beyond business as usual, and without the dedicated dependence on advertising throughout the channel. And actually, you might notice this video, and actually every video from Season 5 of Far Lands or Bust, I have gone through and disabled pre-roll in-stream advertisements. When I discuss and talk about pre-roll or in-stream advertisements, they are the video commercials that run either before or during or after a YouTube video. The ones, sometimes they may allow you to skip after 5 seconds, sometimes they don't, but that is what an in-stream advertisement is. So I've disabled those all for Season 5 of Far Lands Bust, even though that wasn't technically as part of the milestones on the Patreon page. I've just gone ahead and done it to kind of show my dedication to reducing the dependence on advertising in thanks for it has been, what has it been, only 4-ish hours since I launched the Patreon, and I can't, I'm a little bit speechless, I'm a lot of bit speechless, and I can't really fathom the support for it so far. I thought it was going to take a lot longer to get to the current, levels we're at, and, honestly, I won't even get any funds dispersed from that for another 2 weeks or so. So all of this, anything I'm doing here is just kind of, as I said, in good faith to show that, yeah, this is the goals. These are my goals, and I am kind of sticking behind. I'm putting my mouth where my mouth is. I'm putting my word where my mouth is, or my Patreon where my mouth is, or things are in and or around my mouth. That sounded, I heard that after I said it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, let's continue walking here. And what do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I suppose I should talk about the goals reached so far, which again I had zero clue that it would happen this fast, but I basically said there would be none of these pre-roll or in-stream advertisements. The first goal was no in-stream pre-roll advertisements on any future episodes of Far Lands or Bust, and we reached that. And I just said, you know what, screw it, I'll go ahead and remove them all from Season 5. The next goal was to enable a weekly live stream. I know a lot of you wanted to see more live streaming on Twitch TV, and it's one of those things that I didn't dedicate too much time to because, I I could instead dedicate time to recording videos and uploading them to YouTube, where, as I've mentioned, my dependence on the ad revenue exists. So by reaching the second goal, now I'm going to start weekly live streams. I'll see about when I can start those. Next week would be great. I would have to come up with and fiddle with different types of schedules to try to pin down a specific schedule. So it's going to be a good few weeks or maybe a month before I can pin down anything specific as far as, it's going to be mundane Mondays, as I've said before, or whatever we do for a couple hour live stream once a week at least. So we've unlocked that, and let's go to sleep and continue talking about what else we've unlocked. In the morning, and awakeness. Indeed. So yeah, we're gonna do a weekly live stream on Twitch TV/KurtJMac. That is, that's without, you don't have to be a subscriber. Whoa, look at all the creepers. A subscriber to Twitch or anything like that. I don't want to double up on the subscription fees or anything like that. It's just anyone and everyone will benefit from the patronage on Patreon. And then recently, just before I started recording, the third level of support was unlocked. The milestone to remove all pre-roll ads on the entire archive of Far Lands Bust episodes, all 385 episodes, all archival footage from the Flobathons, and also all of the Far Lands Bust flashbacks will have the pre-roll advertisements disabled. And like I said, that is something I've already enabled on all the Season 5 videos, and I just have to go back and manually do those to the rest. That might take a little time, but yeah, now technically you could watch from episode 1 of Far Lands or Bust unimpeded and uninterrupted by any commercial breaks. The entire archive of Far Lands or Bust episodes. That's pretty exciting, and I really do. That was one of my first goals. Is I've always since Far Lands or Bust is a charity walk-a-thon fundraiser, having advertising happen beforehand or interrupt, not having any control over who those advertisers are, and who knows if sometimes they would have conflicted with the charitable goals of Far Lands or Bust. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and now with this I'm able to. And it's something I've asked Child's Play Charity, and I've never heard any ill words from any viewers that they mind that the charity walk-a-thon fundraiser had advertisements on it. And like I said, Child's Play Charity was okay with that. They understand, but just something that we've now unlocked through the Patreon funding, which is very cool, and I appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, I didn't expect things to move so quick, and it might take a month or two to get things up and running. It's looking as if possibly the next milestone, which would be, I teased this earlier, which would be to, a couple of weeks ago, maybe earlier this month, I teased that it would be very interesting to start like my own podcast, just an audio podcast, separate from Far Lands or Bust, to be able to publish, host and publish on iTunes or, all the, wherever you submit your RSS feeds and make freely available to listeners out there. Podcast with guests or co-hosts, guest hosts or something like that. It's looking like that milestone is going to be reached, so that one's going to take some time to set up. I was honestly not anticipating all of this to be happening in the first day, and like I said, I don't, these things haven't, these are just pledges so far, so, it's totally possible that some pledges may fall out or fail to process, or maybe, even though I've tried to convey the point of Patreon being the consistent, perhaps small, but consistent monthly, kind of like a subscription, monthly pledges that keep things consistent. I assume perhaps some people might have just donated or pledged, excuse me is the word I want to use, not donated, pledged this first time, and they might not continue to pledge. So those milestones and those numbers may fluctuate by the time next month comes around. But yeah, I'm excited to hopefully start podcasting. That'd be kind of cool. And yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to, and I'm still, as you can tell, quite flabbergasted and at a loss for words about how all this has gone. I suppose I should talk about a little bit behind the scenes as to why I decided to do this at all. I have been kind of. There was some very, very astute and very predictive. No, very. Some very. What is the word I'm looking for? People who read between the lines. Some very knowledgeable, perhaps just. Yes, people who read between the lines. People were reading the writing on the wall. I was talking a bit about how I'm not entirely comfortable with advertising as a whole, how YouTube and just internet advertising is kind of it's on shaky grounds lately. It's kind of a strange time to be doing what we're doing. And it's something that I've been thinking about a lot the last couple months, and you might have noticed that I was actually kind of running an experiment. Last month and into the early parts of July, everybody did kind of notice that there was a marked increase in frequency of videos on my channel. I went from having only about one, sometimes skipping a day, but about one video a day, to having 3 and sometimes 4 videos a day throughout the month of June and into the beginning of July. And that was kind of an experiment of mine to see if I could emulate some of those channels who have very frequent content on a daily basis, to see if that made any sort of marked improvement or difference or anything, just to see what that would do for the trends of the channel, of subscribers. Obviously, to see if that would affect the advertising revenue. I can't deny the fact that I do need to make an income here, and not only to support and continue to get new equipment and software and video games, stuff that goes back into the channel and the business, but also to buy food and pasta that I will make, but forget to purchase the pasta sauce, as I did last night. Butter noodles. But yeah, we can't deny that, and I don't, that's not really the main point of it, but I just kind of was running that experiment, first of all, to see if I could do it. A lot of people I got a few comments saying, oh, I really like all the frequent videos, but I hope you don't, goodbye, pig! Have a nice trip! Oh, hello, you've returned! Welcome back to the world of the living. I will spare you, since I have enough wolfie treats. Woof. But, what was I saying? Oh yeah, people were concerned, oh, I like your frequent content, but don't get burned out. I don't want to end up, someone like X, David R. 64YT or whatever, the earlier Minecraft Let's Player. He's often come back to YouTube and set up his own schedule and been I'm going to do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and this Tuesday, Thursday, blah, 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 and been really excited and stuck to it for a week or two, but then he disappears again. So people were concerned about that. For me, I do seem to have that kind of similar personality to him, and styles of making online content, YouTube videos and stuff like that. But people were concerned about that, but I feel like I was able to do it. Whether or not I was happy, I was certainly working a lot, but whether or not it was something that was sustainable for months and months on end is, I guess, something we're not going to. Well, I'm going to try, and obviously picking up all these extra projects are going to certainly test that. But now, instead of being tested solely for the appeasement of advertisers, Red Bull, and what's the one I've been seeing a lot? James Patterson's new book, Invisible, whatever the ads that are running right now. I'm doing it directly for the fans who are supporting, and also the fans who don't support. I just want to make that clear too. You don't have to support. Simply watching my videos is indeed support enough. I think I've tried to make that clear in the announcement video and also on the Patreon page. This is just an optional, an extra, just something if you want to see these milestones and new projects come about. Everybody will benefit. It's not just the patrons. Everybody will benefit from these things, hopefully, and will grow onwards and upwards and outwards and towards the far lands and through the far lands and above the far lands. But where was I going with that? This is what happens when I don't have a script and it's just a stream of consciousness. But yeah, I just wanted to see if I could actually do that frequent content. But I also, my conclusion from that was it was a little bit, at the beginning of July, my experiment was kind of a little bit mixed up because we'd started doing UHC and Captain Sparkles, among a few other new folks were part of that UHC, and that definitely caused a surge, a spike in subscribers and views. So that kind of muddied up my data points there, which I'm not complaining about. It was a fun UHC, and everybody seemed to enjoy themselves and like those videos. But overall, it didn't seem like that was the answer to simply overproduce and create videos and content and where am I going with this? Let me collect my crazy thoughts. I'm still spinning right round, spinning, and we'll continue talking in the morning. And awakeness. Boop. Wait, which way is west? This way is west, okay. Woof. So yeah, I kind of did that to test out how that would go. And in the recent weeks, things have slowed down because I've switched focus on setting up, planning, researching this Patreon, this fan funding campaign. And, it really came about. I talked to a few people who are also on Patreon to get their thoughts. I also just kind of saw my initial concern was that it would be absolutely rejected by everyone, and it would be a negative impact on my channel. And yeah, there's been a few, there's been a few very angry people, but also just a few, well, this is okay, but I'm not really for it, or some negative things that I expected. But overall, very surprised, and I shouldn't have been, I suppose, but I'm very surprised by the reaction. I've also just been looking at throughout the West. I've been traveling west too wrong. The nuclear vessels. Throughout the rest of, the internet and things we particularly do, how fan funding is very much a part, even if it isn't a dedicated, campaign, like Patreon or Subbable, or even the other Kickstarter-y type of campaigns, things as simple as those Twitch subscriptions. Even live streamers on Twitch have this, what is it called? Stream Tips? Stream Tips is like another website that allows streamers to take just one-time tips, like a tip jar, and then it flashes up and shows up on their stream live as it happens. And, that's a form of fan funding. And it's really, I think, I hesitate to call it the future, but if the trend in internet advertising, careful Wolfie, both the rates and people's, the viewers have started to get used to advertising, much like we've gotten used to advertising on television and billboards on the streets, and it becomes less and less effective. Therefore, the price for it drops, and advertisers look elsewhere. If that trend continues, it does seem, at least currently, like the primary source of being able to continue to fund content creators, artists online, but also simply the services we use online. What am I looking at here? I actually, one of the things, many things spurred this on, but one of the things that got me thinking about this a little bit more seriously is I read a few articles, but one in particular was a study by, I'm going to read the names here, I'm going to mispronounce them, but Tim Huang and Adi Kamdar, in 2013, they published, it was kind of a study, kind of a white paper. I'm not sure if there was specific scientific process behind it, or if it was just kind of an interpretation of trends, but it's called The Theory of Peak Advertising and the Future of the Web, and they basically talk about how since 1994 saw the first banner ad on the internet ever. And obviously, being the first ad ever, it got like a 75% conversion rate. And ever since then, advertising online has been on a steep decline, obviously since then, but even within the last 5-10 years, and how even the services, like think about your Google services, like your Gmail, YouTube, obviously, things that we use on a day-to-day basis that are free to us as the user but are supported by advertising. What happens when that advertising kind of has the rug pulled out from underneath it? Things like Twitter and Pandora, they have charts showing how their revenue is not matching their increased cost to operate. And I don't know, has Twitch, I know Twitch, there are continued rumors of Twitch being bought by Google, but again, they're not confirmed. The headlines say confirmed reports that Google is going to buy Twitch from an anonymous source close to the matter. Oh, well, that's not really confirmed now, is it? That's just your anonymous source, or perhaps the same anonymous source from the articles 2 months ago. Has Twitch ever run in the black, in the positive? I'm not sure, to be honest. Same things like Twitter. I think Twitter is a different situation. Facebook, obviously, is a different situation. But your services like Pandora Radio, your Yahoos, and these operations kind of just run continually into the negative and just work based on investor funding or something like that. I digress. This was a huge digression. I apologize. But anyway, reading this article kind of did get me thinking about that as somebody who depends, or I should maybe start speaking in the past tense, had depended on 100% advertising revenue, about how that sort of trend, the bell curve is starting to kind of peak and roll over to the other side, would affect my ability to continue to create these videos on a full-time basis. So it was something to think about. Certainly, the article, to be honest, there's a little bit of a doom and gloom, a little bit of scare tactics, almost, I suppose. Some drama, induced there. It might not be as immediate of a problem as they make it out to be, but it's still something worth pausing and think about. And I've said during the announcement video and on Patreon that I'm not working to completely remove advertising from my content. I don't want to put 100% of my funding. I don't want to put that burden on you guys, on my viewers. So, it'd be nice if there was a nice split 50-50 amongst what I still can remain to get in advertising revenue and the fan funding, or say 51-49. So therefore the fans are the majority shareholders, I suppose I could say, if I want to talk about some sort of fancy pants corporate marketing terms. Wolfie understands those terms. He's a CPA and has his MBA in WOFF, or WOOF, I suppose I should say. I apologize. I got your degree misquoted there. But just interesting stuff I had been thinking about for a long time. And, I didn't set up this Patreon over the weekend and say, well, let's see if it works. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I've spent a good amount of time looking at it, planning it out, scrapping it, thinking of just forgetting about it altogether and going back to just making the 3-4 videos a day and talking to people and looking at how other people have worked it and how other people haven't been able to work it, how it hasn't really worked out for some people. Whoa, a little bit of a lag spike there. Hello. So yeah, I really spent a lot of time putting that together, and I think it's showing, and I certainly appreciate everybody who has pledged to be a patron. And like I've said before, this is something I'm not going to be pushing down anybody's throats. I'm not going to be advertising it. I'm not going to be putting it in all my end slates, or even, you know, it's not going to go up. I'm going to keep it off the Far Lands or Bust website. There is a level of patronage that says I'm going to give a thanks on the website, so that might be on the website under like the affiliates or the about page. But otherwise, I'm not going to like put all over my website, support me on Patreon. No, I want the Far Lands or Bust to be about the Child's Play charity widget there that's on the homepage. You know, I'm not gonna go nuts here, but you know, I do appreciate. There's a nice. I suppose if you do have. I still can't reply to comments on YouTube, even on my own channel. Ooh, even on my own channel. So if you are a member of the Reddit over on the Mindcrack, r/Mindcrack, on the Mindcrack subreddit, the post about and the post with the announcement video, I've been checking in there every once in a while, and if you do have questions or feedback or comments or anything, I'll try to check that every once in a while and reply to some comments over on the Mindcrack subreddit. And yeah, I think that hopefully I'm done with puberty. Hopefully wraps up kind of what I wanted to talk about there. And yeah, this isn't. You know, it seems like everybody seems to get the gist of what I'm talking about. This isn't, careful Wolfie, this isn't about making extra money. You know, some of the criticism, oh, you get all this ad revenue and now you want extra money from us? No, this isn't extra money. This is replacing my dependence on advertising. That's why I've already, even before I've made a single cent, it's raining! Woo! Even before I've made a single cent, I've removed ads from this season of Far Lands or Bust videos. That's pretty crazy. Screenshot. And let's dig in here. Get out of the rain. I suppose I should get Wolfie in out of the rain too, huh? Is that a thing I should do? So it's gonna have to be a super big hidey hole here. Whoa, careful, Wolfie. No, come back. You'll want to come in here. Hey, Wolfie. Hey, Wolfie. There you are. Have a seat. Let's cover up. That's pretty crazy. That kind of scared me, actually. I'm like, oh god, what have I done? I pressed the F button again. The fog is way down. But no, just the rain. So yeah, anyway, I feel like a lot of times I'm trying to like justify or defend my decision, but it seems like, obviously, based on the already seemingly success and support for it, it seems like you guys get the gist, and I do appreciate that very much. I did not expect this sort of response so quickly, and you know, it's one of those things, like I've said, I hope can continue, and we'll continue to not only do what we have been doing, because I know a lot of you like my channel and my content simply because it is not predictable, but it's me. It has a certain personality to it. So that's not going to change. And honestly, nothing is going to technically change, regardless of whether or not you're a patron. It's only going to get better, more frequent, and much more. I already have a boat, so I'll just keep that. And just much more. We're gonna expand. More live streams, podcasts. One of the tiers is possible console gaming, and if you want to check it out, there is a stretch goal at the end. I'm a little bit worried that one's going to be reached, to be honest, but it is something that I've put up there, and I can't take it away. There is a final stretch goal for the top there, just in case. But no, you know, don't. only support if you want to support. Don't support because, oh, you want to reach these stretch goals really quick. I really appreciate your discretion and your consistency with your support. Whether or not it be being a patron, obviously, first and foremost, for donating to Child's Play charity, Farlands or Bust, and simply being a viewer. I know a lot of you have been around since episode 1, and a lot more of you have picked up since then and gone back and watched the archive, and I do appreciate everybody, even if you don't like Farlands and Busts, well, at which point, I don't know why you're watching this video, but even if you watch my other series, just being a viewer makes all the difference in the world. Oh, Jeremy Clarkson. So yeah, how about another screenshot? Boop. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is the last time I'm going to talk about this. We're going to get back to normal Farlands and Bust. I'll be answering a lot of your questions from the Child's Play charity donations in the next episode on Friday. Thank you once again. I'm speechless, obviously, since I just talked for the last 35 minutes. And I will see you next time. Things are in and or around my mouth.